Welcome to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement, part of the Treehouse Podcast Network. I'm your host, retired officer Steve Rutherford. We've got two co-hosts today.
You do. You're so lucky.
I've got Joann here with us, and then we've also got Curtis.
There's me. I'm the co-host.
The Coco. Curtis is the Coco today.
Okay.
Okay, you good with that, Joann? You're the co-host. Curtis, you're the
Coco.
Is that like a CEO, but a
That's
No.
like,
Okay.
yeah.
it's a
COCO or
He's-
CCO?
wait. No, he's the Popo Coco. Okay, and we're joined by one guest in studio. We're joined by Sergeant Chuck Hubbard, and joining us remotely from Rhode Island, we've got Officer John Bush. Welcome, gentlemen.
I'm not real clear on the intros. It's supposed to be current.
We've got
Just current sergeant.
current Sergeant Chuck Hubbard
Gotcha.
and current Officer John Bush.
Something we haven't told you yet, Chuck.
Surprise!
You're fired.
Again, thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. Now, Chuck, let's start with you. You are currently an officer. We just established this.
Currently, as of today.
As of right now, you're still employed as an
minute.
officer. Excellent. Let's keep it that way.
Yep.
How long have you been an officer?
29 years.
Good deal. And what agency do you work for?
Fort Worth the entire time.
Wow.
Man, I hear
That's
that
a long time.
I hear that a lot out of Fort Worth guys.
They stay.
Yeah.
Even those that leave come back.
And those that go there stay.
Okay. Those that go there stay. Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, like everyone who leaves other departments and goes there.
Get what you pay for.
However, you guys, I just heard old Chief Noakes is hanging it up in May.
Man, yeah, that come out of left field for a lot of us.
That was surprising.
Yeah,
he's a good dude. He'll be missed, but I guess we'll be on to bigger and better things now. I guess.
Let's see. Hopefully.
He's a good guy. I always enjoy talking to him every time I run into him. So now, Chuck, any special assignments or duties while you've been at Fort Worth?
9 years in patrol. Had enough of that. Started to get a little cynical as we do. Seeing the same calls, same people. Decided to promote out. Went over to General CID for about 8 or 9 months. Over to auto theft. Into the Cobra program for 8 years. Promoted to sergeant. Got stuck right in the jail. So I went and bought weeks worth of uniforms. You know how much that stuff costs.
Oh yeah.
Jail's a plainclothes assignment.
I just thought about that.
So I've got a closet full of nice, pristine uniforms that I never had to put on. And out of there, I went on to a bike unit in West 7th. Hated that, if you know West 7th.
Mm-hmm.
Get tired of that real quick. And went into an SRT unit, a lot of warrant service. We were hitting NARC warrants in the day in that unit. From there over to NARC, and then now currently a NARC K9.
Ooh, my favorite.
The Narcs or the K9?
The canines.
Yeah, we had.
I like a nice dog. They're well trained. They'll protect you. They're good at their job. They're focused. They're not a hot mess like my dog. I love my dog, but she has the attention span of a gnat.
Well, and if you have not listened to last week's episode yet, episode
That's right.
32, we had Little Elm Officer Nate Johnson on here sharing stories about his retired K9, Jax. If you haven't listened to that episode, check it out. Here's some of those adventures that Nate and Jax had together. Now, John, let's move on to you. You are currently an officer, correct?
Correct.
How long have you been in office?
18 years, three different departments.
Okay, where all have you worked?
Started in Pennsylvania, small town sheriff, Adams County Sheriff outside of Gettysburg, actually in Gettysburg. And then went to Horry County Police in the Myrtle Beach area, South Carolina, where I spent the majority of my career. And I've been now 8 years in South Kingstown, Rhode Island.
My people.
That's it.
You're up there with Joann's people?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Smallest state in the country.
Well, and
people know about Rhode Island. What's me, myself, and Irene? It's to the T. That's how.
Yep, pretty much.
That's us.
okay, so me, myself, and Irene. describes Rhode Island officers? John,
a
you-
certain branch.
A
Not
certain
all
branch.
of them. Certain branch.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
Certain. Yeah.
Okay.
But the attitude of people of New England, I guess, in Rhode Island are kind of.
Well, we're hiring down here if you'd like to come.
Round it out.
I'd love to. Yeah. 2 boys and a wife. I can't do that. I'd love to, but.
Well, any special assignments at any of those agencies?
Warrant and Fugitive Division started off at the beginning, which was just one of my funny first stories. But then patrolman, SRO, Beach Patrol down South Carolina. Enjoyed that. The best part of my career down there was actually the 3 years as an SRO. Came up north here. I run the honor guard. I'm on the traffic unit, ride the motor. I'm a motorcycle officer, and I run the honor guard.
Yeah, busy. A lot of busy work there, huh?
It is.
Now, John, prior to becoming an officer, what did you do? Because you kind of had a strange path getting into law enforcement.
I was a football player. Played college football. Had a little stint in the pros. Had some fun doing that. And at the end of the day, I decided to be a cop. So I started off at college. That's what brought in Rhode Island. I played at the University of Rhode Island, a Division I scholarship, and then had a free agent contract with the New York Giants in '99, which we talked about earlier. NFL, not for long. You're there for only I got my butt kicked a little bit. It was cool. Got to see some old school players. And then I did 2 terms in the CFL with the Toronto Argonauts. Loved that. Loved Toronto. Very clean city. It was almost like a clean version of New York. It was a lineman's dream. 3 downs and out. Instead of 4 and out, the field's longer and wider. Every play was a pass. So there'd be some plays that I wouldn't even touch somebody because nobody would rush my side.
Maybe that's because you're like huge.
my starting I played it when I was playing there. I was 6'4", 315. My starting right tackle had been in the NFL for years. His name's Jerry Crass. I believe he still coaches in the NFL. 6'8", 380. And he would move
that's
like
a
rat.
Big guy.
He had feet like a cat, a rat. He just could move. After games, he's ripping butts behind the bus, and I'm like, what is this guy doing? But he, big man. Then I went on to the Arena Football League in Indianapolis. Later got bought out by Elway. He bought it and moved it to Colorado, the Crush. So while playing in Orlando, I suffered a Joe Theismann tib-fib compound fracture break in my leg. Took a little time for that to heal. Had me another tryout for your Dallas Cowboys in 2002. Jason Garrett was the backup quarterback. That's how long we're going back.
Goodness.
And they actually did, after the blood work and the blood test, they found that my white blood count was to the roof, and I actually had an infection from the surgery in my leg. Mm-hmm. And then 2 years afterwards, it wasn't healed. So kind of saved my life, but ended my career at the same time. And started taking tests. I got on the tests for the Pennsylvania State Police. I didn't have military background, so I didn't get the extra 10 points. So I got my score high enough to where I had about a 1.5 year wait till I got a background investigator, and I kind of got tired of waiting, so I joined the small little sheriff's department.
Yeah. Well,
so which one paid more to tackle, football or cops?
Which one was more fun?
The cops was more fun. A lot more fun. Less equipment.
It's easier to tackle somebody when they're not expecting it too. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. That is true. They're not set up in a 3-point stance waiting for you to cross the line at them. Well, it's very good, man. That's a crazy background prior to law enforcement. So cool stuff. I mean, all of us have
typical
questions.
cheesy story. Sorry.
Well,
I grew up watching Chips. I was a motorcycle. I grew up watching Chips. I was that cheesy kid. I was like, I want to be John Baker. I want to be John Baker. I had a Chips big wheel. I was like, I want to be John Baker. Yep.
Well, and now you are.
Well, you mentioned your Joe Theismann break, and there was actually the National Sheriff's Convention met, and they actually had their meeting in Fort Worth several years back, and I actually got to attend it. And actually, Joe Theismann was the guest speaker. He actually doesn't pronounce his last name, or did not pronounce his name, Theismann. It's Theismann. And he had a coach tell him once that, hey, brought him into the coach's office and said, hey, your last name is Theismann. He said, no, coach, it's Theismann. He said, no, your last name is Theismann. And he picked up on the fact that Theismann and Heisman
Very close.
sounded the same. So, yeah. So that's where we
cool.
went from
Name
Theismann to
recognition.
Theismann. So that's your useless trivia for
There you
today.
go.
Thanks
Right
for
on.
listening to Offbeat. All right. Chuck, in all your years in law enforcement and at Fort Worth, I know you've probably come across some funny stories.
I have. First of all, I'd like to say thanks for trying out for the Cowboys, because it seems like that might have been a life-saving ordeal for him, right? Had he not tried out for the Cowboys, hadn't found the infection, that could have ended completely differently, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
So just
They still would have
thanks
lost.
for trying out for the Cowboys, and I
Yeah.
think that was in your cards.
You know, except for, and I hate to interrupt you, Chuck, but let's mention what team was your brief NFL stint with?
New York Giants.
The what?
New York Giants.
New York Giants.
Kind of mumbled there,
He's
didn't he?
not saying
Yeah,
that
he
very
didn't say that very
He's
loud
not-
tonight.
Not announcing that.
Not a fan of them.
All right,
It's
Chuck,
my
that's all.
central Pennsylvania mumble too.
No, I think what I wanted to start off with was just a story that you know we're so serious in the public's eye, and they rarely know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of jokesters. We never got out of the high school, college locker room. We're popping each other on the butt with the towels. You know, that's just that is this job. You know, it's how
Absolutely.
we cope with the serious topics and issues that we deal with daily. Have a terrible example of how we deal with it, and then the result of dealing with it while you're at work. I'm a good patrolman, right? I'm out scouring the streets, looking for crime. Just so happen I see a wooden fence that's been built between two businesses ablaze. I should probably lay back and call the fire department, right?
That's their part of it.
I'm a go-getter. I've got a fire extinguisher right in the back of my car that's going to handle this.
You've got this.
I didn't have a camera in the car at the time, or I would have positioned the car to get the full heroism, you know, as it was going down.
Battling the inferno.
Yeah. So I deal with it as I can. I jump out. I of course call out on the radio, let them know I got a fire. Roll over, and nothing. Dead fire extinguisher.
That's what I was
that's
saying.
so-
That's the worst.
My buddies are going to come to my aid, so I've got a sergeant at the time. He rolls down casually. 7 minutes later, as most of the fences are burned down, he asked me, "What exactly are you doing?" And I said, "Sarge, look, it's on fire. Let's put it out." He's like, "You're not a fireman." I said, "They're not going to make it here in time. Let me do this." And he reaches into his passenger seat, grabs his fire extinguisher, sprays me head to toe
What?
through his driver's window. So now my pristine blue creased rookie uniform is covered in the white powder. I've got my eye holes are left because I closed my eyes when he sprayed me. So I'm like, how am I going to let this go? Oh, he's my sergeant.
Oh, that's
This
funny.
is just what you do, right? So about that time, an assist rolls in and he sees what's going on, and he walks over and gives the sergeant a little bit of pepper spray in the window. Because he's got my back. You know, he may be the sergeant, but this guy's got my back. So now the big sergeant gets out and he's going to handle business. So we're doing ring around the rosy around his patrol car. He's still got the only live fire extinguisher, and he's basically getting himself more than he's getting us because he's a little rotund and we're quick, you know, quick cats running around. Well, my buddy steps off into a water meter base, the base right through, rolls his ankle, and he gets a triple dose while he's on the ground. I drag, I do rescue. I've got him under hooks, and I drag him to rescue him behind my car. The sergeant stops and says, "Guys, that's about enough of this." We're like, "Oh, come on. Something's up." He's shutting it down. He's the one that started it. And I turn to see what he's seeing, and there's two old ladies across the street in their moo-moos, smoking their cigarettes, watching the show. And the best part of it was they just gave us a little and went back inside and cleaned up, fire burned itself out. That was it. I'm not a fireman.
This is before cell phones too. I think.
Yeah.
We had them,
Oh,
but they
thank
were
God.
attached
Or
to
the
the car.
camcorder.
You couldn't
Yeah.
go very far with them,
Yeah.
in the day.
So you got the raging inferno of the fence engulfed in flames going on in the background while you three are chasing
Three
each other
cops are
around
chasing
the
each
car.
other.
Three Stooges, yeah.
Those poor ladies like, I don't know who's going to win. I mean, who do we call?
Who's she rooting for?
They're there
bring
with
it up.
cash, they're placing their bets.
All you need is the Benny Hill music.
Oh man.
And bringing out OC spray, man. You bring out OC spray to a joke. I'd rather be tased 100
Oh, yeah.
times than have spray.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
I'm so
it's-
fair skinned. You spray me, you better run. I can't take that. Nope.
well,
That's one of my fears.
John, ever put out any fires there and anywhere you work?
Oh, yeah. I kind of got myself a reputation with some local fire departments because of what I've done. All of ours up here in our area are mostly all volunteer. Joann can tell you that. Other than the cities, it's all volunteers. And man, when that tone goes out, those volunteers, it's like they love getting there, those fires. So, I mean, I've had a couple like small kitchen fires. You get in, bust in, and sprayed them out. And I remember just setting my empty canister down as the fire guys are coming, like full gear, fans, everything. I'm like, it's out, guys. You got it. We're all set.
I hate
It's
that.
like, and meanwhile, you can just read their lips. They're like, I'm like, my bad. Yeah. We're not to tell war stories, but there's some bad calls for service and fire. But the funny ones are getting in there before the fire department and like putting it out. Like this was a candle that literally burned too low and was on the countertop of a graduate village right by URI, Joann. It's like so it was a decent engulfed little kitchen fire, and by the time I was on scene, fire extinguisher cleared, ventilated as like the cavalry showed up. I mean, every toy they had came out, and I was like, all set, guys, you're good to go.
Yeah, you definitely stepped on some toes there, man. They didn't get to
Yeah.
pull all their stuff out and play with it.
I had my poor Kingston Fire.
That's who it was. Yeah, that's where it was.
Oh, my poor department.
Well, and what are you supposed to tell a homeowner if they've got a fire going on in their house and you walk in, you're holding a fire extinguisher. I'm not a fireman. We're gonna have to wait till the fire department gets here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
Above my
happens.
pay grade.
That's right.
Yeah,
no,
it happens on medical calls sometimes. He's like, I'm like, just sit tight, man. Mom, EMS is on their way. I'm sitting there like,
the guy's face is all blue. You're like, I can't do anything. I'm not a medic.
yeah,
So-
Well,
ABC.
you're always CPR certified, so
yeah. But I learned this from down south. ABC, ambulance be coming. That's what I learned. Ambulance be coming.
that's funny. I didn't know that one. All my years, I've never heard that one before.
Now, John, you also you mentioned that you actually worked in Myrtle Beach for a while.
I did.
How did you go about applying there?
I was working for the Adams County Sheriff in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Went on a vacation to Myrtle Beach, and I'm sitting on the beach enjoying my cocktails, a nice beach, and watching those big plane banners go across. And I grew up central Pennsylvania, so it's pretty country. It's Amish country, Amish in our backyard. So I probably stuck out like a sore thumb there. Probably the palest guy on the beach. But
Did you have on a hat and a long beard?
No, I didn't have a beard then, but I had hair. Actually, I looked like Johnny Bravo. I was a towhead. I used to have like that floofy white hair, but it didn't grow back after one of the shaves. So I'm watching this banner plane go across, and it says, "Come join us, now hiring," and it said HORRY County Police. I'm like, what is Horry County Police? I'm like, and there's somebody next to me, and they're like, it's pronounced Ori or Ori. I'm like, but there's an H there, and like, so I'm like, all right. So I Google it, and like, it's the biggest. The county's bigger than the actual state of Rhode Island. It's one of the biggest counties, I think, east of the Mississippi, and they advertised it well. I mean, take home car back then. I mean, this is 2004. I remember my starting pay is, you're gonna laugh at this, $28,800. I remember that, and at the time was like, that was good.
Yeah, cha-ching.
And
Oh yeah.
cha-ching, 12-hour shifts. The Panama schedule. Every other Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. I'm like, heck yeah. So I applied. I'm like, I already been to the academy. I got background. So I I filled out. I went in my board shorts and flip flops to this central precinct, picked up an application packet, and went home, sent it out. The whole background, poly stuff, all that. And 9 weeks later, I get a phone call. I had to go down there. They did all the testing in the Thursday, Friday, Saturday deal. Like you did your written, your agility, your interview with the chief, poly, psych, everything. Boom, boom, boom. Came back, and like I said, again, 9 weeks. Had a conditional offer, and I'm like, all right, it's February. I'm leaving freezing cold Pennsylvania to go down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where I think I lost 20 pounds the first week there, first month there. It was so hot. But that's how I got there. I didn't know how to pronounce it. Horry County, but it's Horry if you're from there.
You went to work for Horry County because you went and vacationed on the beach.
That's it. Yeah.
Very good.
I think the motto on their license plate used to be "Smiling faces, beautiful places." I don't know, something like that.
Oh, so pretty.
This is Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. Check us out online at offbeatcopshow.com.
Planning for the future is challenging, and getting where you want to go in life requires strategies built around your unique financial needs. Alexander Financial Management is here to help you reach your goals. As fiduciaries, Alexander Financial Management will pursue the best solutions for you, no exception. While their decades of experience and service are available to everyone, Alexander Financial especially wants to help first responders and their families. The founder is a former police officer, and the executive team includes a retired fire captain and a retired police officer. Their extensive background in public service gives a deep understanding of the public retirement systems of Texas. So for retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, and estate planning, Alexander Financial Management has your back, so you can look forward. Get more info at alexfm.com. That's alexfm.com. Investment advisory services offered through Transcend LLC, a registered investment advisor. TE3 and Alexander Financial are not affiliated entities. Insurance products and services are not offered through TE3, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. I'm your host, retired officer Steve Rutherford. Your co-host for today, Joann Jackson.
Hey.
And your Popo
Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.
Our Papaw Coco.
Thanks for having me there, whippersnapper.
Curtis is also joining us today. Now in the studio, we've got one guest joining us. We've got Sergeant Chuck Hubbard. And joining us remotely from Rhode Island, we've got Officer John Bush. Now, this segment of Offbeat is sponsored by our good friends at Alexander Financial Management. If you have questions about retirement planning, investment strategies, life insurance, or estate planning, check out Alexander Financial Management at alexfm.com. Now, something I did want to mention on today's show, unfortunately, and in a terrible, terrible tragedy here in the North Texas area, we've lost a couple of heroes lately in the line of duty, and something that affects all of us. And there's actually a foundation out there. This was started by our friend Russ Martin many years ago, and it's the RMS Treehouse Listeners Foundation. And the purpose of the foundation is to make a monetary donation to the families of fallen police and firefighters that unfortunately make that ultimate sacrifice and lose their life in the line of duty. Joann, you've been the recipient, unfortunately, of one of these checks, one of these donations, because you are a survivor of fallen Dallas police officer Brian Jackson.
Correct.
And that donation really, really helps out.
It does. It's an immediate check within the first day or two, and it helps with your expenses and your finances that most homes are a two-income home, and it takes a while for everything else, state and federal and pensions and life insurance and all that to come in. So I can say from my experience, if it hadn't been for the Russ Martin Show Listeners Foundation, I don't know if I would have been able to keep our home. We had just gotten married 2 months prior. Our home was new. Our furniture was new. everything was new, and there was no way I could have maintained it on my own with one income. And the foundation helped me maintain and keep my home that I had with Brian, and got me through the first couple of months.
And it, that the donation from the foundation really fills a void, because there are benefits out there, but they take time to get those in, and the
Months.
foundation tries to fill in that void.
Right.
My wife Karen's also a surviving spouse of fallen Fort Worth officer Joann Frito, end of watch 12/17 of 2006, and the foundation also donated to Karen, and I know that meant a lot to her right after having lost Dwayne. And Russ actually, he called me once, and he was asking about, okay, what normally happens, for the surviving spouses and family members, and he was asking me about, hey, federal benefits, state benefits, how long does it take? And I told him, I said, well, Russ, you really need to talk to Karen about this. And he said, well, Steve, when you get home tonight, have Karen give me a call. So I did, and the one thing about Russ, anybody who can spend 4 hours 5 days a week on the radio, they've got the gift of gab. Talking to Karen on the phone that evening, I said, hey, Russ, I want you to call him. So we call Russ. Karen's on the phone with Russ for like hours. And I finally yelled in the background, Russ, hang up the phone. I want my wife back.
He could, he was a very emotional, caring man. He had his moments where I wanted to punch him in the nose, and he knew that. But our conversations were always very lengthy. It's just like when there was more than one of us, it kind of became very emotional for him.
Well, and Russ started the foundation. Now the foundation stays alive because the foundation is a 501c3 organization. They've got a board. Several of the guys are on there. Dan O'Malley's on there. Trey Trenholm's on there. Captain Howard. He's on there as well. But the one thing that always caught me, that really captured my attention right from the bat, is the first time I ever met Russ, he had no idea he was going to run into me that day. And I happened to be over at the station in uniform because, lo and behold, someone made a threat to him. I can't imagine that. But Russ saw me in uniform, walked right over to me, and I said, hey, we've got a mutual friend. And I actually mentioned Joann Jackson. He said, how do you know Joe? And so I told him the story. And then I said, you also know my wife, Karen Frito Rutherford. Without missing a beat, Russ said, Dwayne Neal Frito, 12/17/06. He knew Dwayne's first, middle, and last name and his end of watch. And this was many, many years after Dwayne was killed, unfortunately. And so at that point in time, I knew, hey, Russ, this guy's genuine.
Yep.
And he definitely cared about police and firefighters, all first responders. And so that's where the foundation came from. It's maintained today.
And it's still needed today. It still needs donations to help these families.
Absolutely. And, the foundation covers 10 counties around the Dallas area. But if you would like to make a donation, visit treehouseonair.com. At the top of the page, it's got a place where you can click on the link to donate. Again, that's treehouseonair.com. Very, very important. We want to make sure that the foundation lives on well into the future. Heaven forbid the foundation should ever have to issue another check, but if they have to, we want to make sure that they're able to.
Yes.
So
Yes.
good deal. All right, we're gonna switch gears now. Chuck, you used to have competitions on your shift, correct?
Correct.
And what kind of competitions?
So, group of young officers. I mean, you're out there trying to suppress crime and defeat evil.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about felony arrest, right? So you've got this tally. You end up with one felony, you're going to get shamed. The goal is I'm going to finish the week with the most felonies. So it's a friendly competition, but at the same time, you're putting felons in jail. So we think this is a good thing. I'm not going to say it gets out of hand, but you start getting into things maybe that if the competition hadn't been going on, wouldn't have happened the way that they happen.
You take more risks, right?
You take more risk. You rush your jail paperwork. You got to get back in service. You got to scan the calls holding. You're cherry picking things that look like they could be of value to you.
But hey, the work is getting done. You're motivating everybody to
Yeah.
work.
I mean, some of it, I know the guy at Walmart. He's going to call me because this is the third time he's arrested this guy, right? He's LP and he knows that guy. But then it takes a turn sometimes. And one particular night, I see a call holding. I'm leaving the jail. I'm like, that's a domestic violence. That says forced entry. That's a felony.
Oh yeah.
I'm running. So I volunteered for it. It's not out of my district, but it's not my beat. I roll over and I'm like, man, I'm going to wait for my assist. I'm like, no, but what if he gets away? I'm going to lose my felony. I've got to get there and get cuffs on him because I don't want to do a suspect case. I want to catch the guy and protect the victim, correct? So the additional call comes in that says he's inside breaking glass. And I was like, there's my trigger. Park my car just out of sight, sneak up the balcony or the staircase, listen to the door, and I hear arguing. So I rapped on the door. Assist is still not there, but I'm like, if anything, maybe I can grab the victim, pull her out. Well, the victim opens the door. She's got the white tank top, and shards of glass are sticking through her shirt and into her chest.
Oh,
Man,
And
wow.
I'm
Man.
like, is he here? And she says, no, he's not here. And I see him over her shoulder backing towards the balcony of the second floor landing.
Game on.
We're going to go, right? He's just caused injury to this female. And I hear the cha-ching, all the keys coming up the stairs. So I know my assist is coming. And so I push her up back, push her to safety. I step in, and old boy just turns, crashes through the screen door, and jumps
Oh,
headlong into the pool. So being the rookie that I am, I go to take my gun belt off, give it a second guess. He's treading water. He's out of the pool. He's on the golf course, and he's running. Click the old gun belt back on and down to my car, start circling the golf course, waited him out. It may have taken 45 minutes to an hour. We finally got Air One, ended up getting the guy. My assist is very unhappy with me. He thinks this is all competition driven, and I had to explain to him that second call came in, that drove me. It wasn't just the felony arrest. And I said, do I still get the felony? I didn't cuff him. Do I still get it? He's like, you're the sheet, you get the felony. So it had a happy ending, but sometimes those little competitions take turns that you just didn't expect when you came up with these games.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, running across golf courses and
Diving in pools.
What was it? The second floor, or was it more?
Second floor.
Okay.
Yikes.
I probably could have made it. I still have reservations that I didn't take the jump. But
There's
yeah.
still time. We can go back and recreate it.
Not at
IAT
this
for
age.
you.
Not at this age. We're not doing it.
but there was a pool, so
You know what?
He
I'm going
made
to say you would have made it. We're good.
This kid was in shape. There's no
And
doubt.
you have like 20 pounds of gear.
Yeah.
And would you want to jump in with all that gear on,
There's no
weighing
way.
you down?
Oh, absolutely.
Barring somebody drowning, I'm not to chase. He's got to get out of the water eventually, right?
And then you have to remember, do I know how to swim? Could I swim with all this on?
It changes things. Yeah.
yeah, things to consider. Now, John, here's something that I've got to ask you for more explanation on. You played in the NFL, and then you played in the Canadian Football League. You're a large individual, but do you have a fear out there in the world? A fear of something?
yeah.
Wait,
I
what is
am,
your fear?
Scared to death of the dark, of indoor buildings, inside buildings.
Scared of the dark.
Not outside. You can put me in the woods
Inside.
all day. I'm country. I'll hunt. I'll be in the woods. I do all that stuff. But you put me in a building in someplace under a roof in the dark. Yeah, and that stems
How do you
from
sleep at night?
with a CPAP very well. Yeah, like best sleep of my life. So it started 2004 when I started my career as Adams County Sheriff, and in Pennsylvania general law was you don't have to go to the academy for 6 months until once you're hired. So other than me having my football background, not afraid of a fight or whatever, and deer hunting capabilities, I'm good with my 30-06, all that kind of stuff. Now I go to work for this sheriff's department. So I'm doing the civil processes and the courtroom stuff. And I'm like, man, this is boring. Why? I can't wait for the state police to pick me up, hopefully. The old guy from in our sheriff's department, he's now the sheriff. And James Muller. Yeah, he had permission to drop his name. I talked to him every night. But he was he ran the fugitive and warrant division at the time. And in 2004, I did the math with him last night. He was 60 years old, and he was doing like the tough cop competitions, all that stuff. So just to give you a little background on who I'm working with, this guy grew up in this area. He said, if Vietnam didn't kill me, my hometown is not going to kill me. So probably a little, in today's world of law enforcement, not the way to think, but that part of Pennsylvania is very mountainous, very woodsy. So a lot of our warrants were right over the state line in Maryland. So we got deputized by the federal, by the marshals, so we could go across state lines. And so I guess I had proved myself to him because I saw him at the gym numerous times. And he's like, he always just called me like, hey, partner. He'd always call me, hey, partner. He's like, you want to come do warrants with me? I'm like, yeah. Haven't been to the academy yet. Nothing. I mean, I didn't even have a vest. I had these crappy Rocky boots that they gave us. I had the dark brown polyester pants, the light khaki, sheriff's color. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So this guy, Jim, the driver, he had an unmarked white Impala. So he's like, all right, we're going to get this kid. And so it's out in the middle of a farm. It's a pretty big farm. It's got a couple different barns on it, big silos, cattle barns. And he goes, hey, he's a runner. I said, okay. I'm at the time, I'm like, I was in pretty good shape. I mean, I had a good 80, 100 yards in me. I'd get you at 280. I'd chase you down. But there's a cattle fence on the back of this trailer that's on this farm that he was renting. And so I kept saying to him, I said, wait, just wait till I get over the fence until you knock the door. I'm not like 2 feet over the fence trying to get over, and I see this kid come out the back door. Again, no academy training, no nothing. Only what I see on TV, I'm like, freeze, you're under arrest. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, don't move. Like, I'm hoping he's like, sees this mammoth in me, and the guy looks at me, he's like, buddy. It's horse pasture, it's crap, it's poop. I'm not even gonna swear, it's poop, horse poop, cow poop, mud, it's raining. This kid's barefooted, he's running, and it looked like a rooster tail coming up behind him, like on a jet ski. He's hauling butt. Like, I'm running, slipping, sliding. No tactical training at all, other than my gut, my youthful dumb decisions in football. And so he turns the corner. He goes into this long, about 100-yard long cattle barn, right? So he goes around the corner, and I come around the corner. I'm like, it's pitch black. I'm like, oh, boy. So the flashlight that I was issued, I swear, it was a mag light, but it was the one that was like this big that you could twist the top. And you could maybe tie your shoe with it.
7 lumens.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there. I remember we carried the SIG 229s. I think they were I don't remember. They were 40 caliber. What was it? SIG 227s. 223s. All right. So I'm like TJ Hooker. I got my hand on my gun. I'm like, my little pen light in front of me going in this barn. I mean, I can't see 2 feet. And my wife's got horses, so I was telling her this story the other night too. I felt like somebody was like right here. Like, I just felt, that feeling in the dark. You're like, there is something right here. And I'm looking around, and I shine my little pen light around, and there's this freaking horse's eye, like right at me. I'm like, ah! I scream, I scare him. This kid had let the horse gate open, and these horses, they push into you. He pushed into me, pushed me aside. I almost desk popped. Like, I was just like, ah! These horses all run outside, and then this kid takes off running down to the barn, and I can see at the other end my partner at the other door, the silhouette. So I'm running towards the light, and barn drops down, hayloft comes down. I'm 6'4". Do the math. What happens? I could have made a movie out of that. Boom! Knocked myself down. So
Sweet bird.
that kind of raised me scared of the dark inside buildings. So now to this day, like, I'm the old school guy. I still carry the D-ring mag light loop on my belt. Like, even if on day shift, man, I will light it up. I got flashlights out. I never have enough flashlight. We lost power right here in the storm. And I bring out my go box, and it's like, my wife's like, it's a lot of flashlights. Like, yep. I'm like, it's something.
These aren't flashlights, it's lifelines.
And I'm scared to death of horses pretty much from that day. Like, my wife's got 2 of them, and I'm just like, But that's why I'm afraid of the dark. Those so my partner takes me home, and he's like, I'm covered in horse crap, deer, everything. And it took me months after going through academy. It was a 6-in, like a residential academy, which ended up catching the guy 6 months later. But it was kind of like he got a little extra oomph when I caught him. I was like, this is for make me almost kill like Black Beauty. I mean, whatever that horse was, that thing looked at, I mean, the eyeball, it's like one of those things that I'm like looking at. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Wow.
I know
So
sometimes it's not tactical, but we go into a dark place sometimes. I know they say it's dark, leave it dark, light. Listen, I light that thing up so I can see everything.
yeah, that's not a bad way to go. Now, Chuck, you're K9 officer.
Yes.
Okay. Now we just went from one animal story with horses, and John elaborated that he had manure and horse crap and stuff on there. Anything relatable in the canine world out there?
Well, I think any canine handler is going to tell you it's the best job. It's the best job, hands down. I mean, we probably would do it without getting paid, but there do come those days where you earn your money, and we had one of those. We try to do this favor for each other. If you're going to go on vacation, we'll kennel the dog, and the other teammates will come by and care for the dog. Out of convenience, most of the guys that were on the rotation were near our office that were going to care for a particular handler's dog. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks. So we're like, we're not going to make this trek down here when we can just keep the dog here. So we have a good facility at the office, nice kennel. The office is being renovated, so it's not complete at the time, but it's got doors, it's got windows, it's readily accessible or usable to care for this dog. About day 2, terrible thunderstorm in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m. I mean, rocking the building, obviously. I come into the office, crack the door open, and it stinks. It stinks like dog poop, big time. And I see an empty bag in the corner, which was a full bag when I had last seen it. Between the time the last handler was there, which was probably 8 p.m., the thunderstorm, the 40 pounds of food have been eaten.
Oh my gosh.
We got a bad day. And then I noticed the dog's not in the room.
Where's
Just getting worse as we go here.
And this is a $12,000 dog. City's going to miss it if we don't find it.
Dear Chief.
Yeah. Freshly painted door with scratch marks on it. It's one of those heavy steel doors that you've got to manually hold it down and push it open. Mm-hmm. Either a smart dog or a panic dog gets this door open. I'm in the hallway. I step in poop. Nice fresh pile. And this day can't get worse. So then my phone rings. Some civilians down the hallway said, we saw a dog run in the hallway this morning real early, but it looked like it was in a panic, like it was scared of something, and it was pooping every step it took. It was pooping on the Oh, my gosh. And I was like, all right, it's a big building. They're calling from the other end of it. And so I didn't even need that phone call because I could have just followed the trail. I mean, I'm on the trail, so I'm following it. But then it goes everywhere. Usually you'll hit a T and you're, that trail went
Both ways.
He's making his way around the building and just trying to hold it together. Get another phone call. Hey, there's a bunch of chewed up plush toys that we normally give out to the kids. They're just shredded in our office. We're not sure. There looked like there was some dog hair near it and some poop.
He's just having an adventure.
He's making his way. He's going through these doors that typically you have to have a proxy car. I mean, this dog's smart, right? He's obviously going and getting somebody's ID. And no, I don't know how he's getting in, but he's making his way. Come to another officer who's outside. And I'm like, I know it's about the dog poop and the dog. He was like, yeah, that stray dog was near our office. So I booted him out this door about 20 minutes ago. And I'm like,
meeting with everybody.
Why did you think this was a stray dog? Well, the collar looked like it was real tattered, and he had pooped all over himself. So that was not that was our dog, Otha. So now do I go on my search? Do I go do the porter duties and start cleaning the building? Phone rings again. We got this dog in our office. He seems really scared. And I'm like, I bet he is. Make my way down, and he's got beef jerky. They're giving him some chocolate
boy.
milk, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
so I scoop him up, take him back. Probably 3 hours of cleaning. Get it all taken care of. Go back to Otha. Show him the dog's face. Otha, if you see this dog loose, he's ours. Don't let him out. Don't kick him out of the building. End up wrapping that up. Get a better security system on the kennel, and then the handler calls me that evening. How's it going?
Just fine.
Just
Everything's
great. Everything's great.
Everything's perfect.
He's happy. He's eating well. He's pooping.
Yeah. Well, I was actually in the building that morning, and I was our spot was called the Rat Maze, and I'm just sitting there typing on the computer. There's no one in the building, and all of a sudden I see a dog. I was like, "That was a dog." No,
Surely it couldn't have been.
I type again. I was going to look over, and it looks at me. We make eye contact, and it dropped the biggest load I'd ever seen in my life. And it was like 0.2 seconds. It was like it hit me in the nose, like.
Oh. So was he okay after all of the dog food and the treats?
It took some cleansing. Took him a little while. We had some.
Get him to get all the poop off.
And he was the dog that also swallowed the freaking tennis ball too.
Yeah,
so.
he's eating tennis
Oh.
balls. He's eating some plush toys. But that was 40 pounds of food in just a few hours. So it took him a while to work through all that. So,
Yeah.
End up fine.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, man. Canine's fun, right?
It is fun.
Except for the poop.
Except
For the poop. Let's welcome Daniel Cook now from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration into the studio. The number is 833-COOK-DFW, and the website is cookdfw.com. Now, Daniel, what should homeowners be thinking about as we get closer to Christmas and the end of the year?
Well, Steve, I mean, there's a lot of things that people are going to be frantically worrying about. You got family coming over. You got, all your kids getting ready for Christmas and Santa Claus coming. And, your home, everybody wants a nice, clean, presentable home, that is going to show well. And so, if you're walking around and you're starting to see maybe some scenarios where you got, gutters maybe clogged up or, water running off of those when we're having this little bit of rain here and then, if you do find some roofing materials in your yard or something as you're decorating, if you have, just periodically maintenance, if you start noticing painting is peeling around your exterior or wood is rotted out, these are things that people are going to see usually because they're more attentive to their house during these times. And so, and also inside, when you're inside cleaning up, if you start noticing stains, maybe around ceilings and or corners, or if you start seeing it looks like bubbling inside your sheetrock or something, that could be signs that water is getting inside your attic or inside your walls. And so these are all items that if you see, take the time, give us a call. We can come out. We can give you a professional opinion about what's causing those items, and let's get them stopped before they get really bad.
Give Daniel a call at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration for any of those roofing, remodeling, or restoration needs. The number is 833-COOK-DFW, and the website is cookdfw.com. Be sure to ask about their free first responder upgrade. And we're back to more Offbeat, the light side of law enforcement. We've got two guests joining us today. In studio, we've got Sergeant Chuck Hubbard, and joining us remotely from Rhode Island, we've got Officer John Bush. I do want to remind our listeners that if you've not checked out the website, take a look, offbeatcopshow.com. Again, that's offbeatcopshow.com. You can listen to all episodes there on the website, as well as subscribe to the email list. Also, check us out on social media. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're watching the show on YouTube, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button there. Doesn't cost anything.
It's free.
It's free. And give us a thumbs up there. So, what am I missing here? All right. If you're an officer and you've got a funny story that you'd like to come on the show and share with our listeners, then send us an email. That's offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Again, that's offbeatcopshow@gmail.com. Thanks for the assist on that, Curtis. I appreciate that. Now, Now, Chuck, let's get over to you. Have you, during your time in law enforcement, you've been an officer for quite some time, has there ever come a point where you forgot that you're an officer?
It happened. Never afraid to be self-deprecating. Now, granted, I was newly on the department. I'm in field training, first or second week. You're just so happy to have a uniform and have a badge, and like, this is really me. And you can't get out from in front of the mirror because everything just looks right. And so I'm in field training with a veteran. I mean, just a well-respected officer. I'm trying to take in everything he's telling me. We're on a fresh sexual assault call. Victim's been assaulted in the alley. Roll up, and I'm like, I want to do the interview. I want to get the details because I want to find the perp, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, hey, quick download. Let's get description of said actor. Matter of fact, it's January. Let's put her in the back seat, get the info through the glass, and we'll start our canvas of the neighborhood. And I got about 3 questions in. She says, there he is.
Whoa.
And I said, what? Cowboys jacket with the toboggan running that way. And next thing I know, I'm in the chase and I'm catching him. Probably 17-year-old male, fit. And I'm like, Academy's paying off. I'm right on him.
I got this guy.
Hard left turn over the fence, in the back door, through the kitchen, through the living room, out the front door, across the street, in the front door, through the living room, out the back door, across the next alley, through that door, hard left turn, end up at Williams Chicken. I get him. They tried to blend him in. I scoop him up, and I feel like I've forgotten something. Never been on the radio.
Never told her where you're at.
Don't know what streets I'm on.
Oh, no.
Everyone seems to be very hostile with me, but none of my friends are around. And stepped out into the street, and I hear the bird overhead, and then I slowly hear the sirens starting to coordinate towards me. And the look on his face. I'm happy I caught the guy. I'm pretty sure I'm in trouble with him. And he just says, we'll talk about it later.
This your training officer.
No.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So
You went through multiple houses chasing this guy. Now we got to focus.
Not one time on the radio.
Wow. And you didn't even announce yourself when you went in the house.
One guy had his remote out changing channels.
He's like, man, I need this remote really works.
Just caught in the moment, so happy to be trying to catch a bad guy. It just, the cop thing hadn't kicked in yet. So
Well, the adrenaline takes over and you're just driven
Someone takes off running, your instinct is
You're a
to chase.
cheetah.
to chase them. Yep.
rabbit
Game on.
runs.
But
Yeah.
so some guy sitting in his living room watching TV, he's got his remote out, and then all of a sudden, bad guy, officer, right on by. That would be quite alarming if you're watching your TV. That's just zoom, zoom.
Yeah.
It's like
Your
Cops
academy kicks
3D.
in. Afternoon, sir.
Cops 3D.
Okay, now, John, you mentioned something about water and amphibious.
Amphibious assault. So, to give you a quick, or actually, Rhode Island, we're surrounded by water. We are the ocean state. All right. We have multiple jurisdictions around us, agencies. We have a resort island that is 11 miles off of our coast called Block Island. Right. It is a party island. You can get there from Montauk, New York, which is Long Island. We have a ferry. It takes you out there. And it's like an hour on a slow ride. And they have a fast ferry. So they're having this reggae fest this one weekend. And I'm in the final stages of training a new officer. And he's a very eager officer, but sometimes he goes code black. Very easy. So he's in the driver. So we get a call to head to the ports. I'm trying to speed this up for you. Head to the ports. Got a disturbance on the ferry. Reports came in. Original reports: shots fired, gun displayed, multiple stabbings. I'm like, all right, 7,000 people on this boat, right? So we get to the ports. The agency who's there, their sergeant's in charge. I get out of the car, rifle sling. I got my 4D cell flashlight. That thing is by my side. He's like, I went bush. I said, I got a trainee. He goes, all right, I got bush. I get your trainee. And 3 other guys, and we get on this Coast Guard cutter. 3 250 motors in the back of this boat, right? We head out in a joint, like where the port is at for the ferry. You go out past these big stone jetties, and then you're in the ocean, right? So No life jackets, no nothing. I'm holding on to this little bar, flying, and we're skipping. Like, listen, at this point in age, I'm over 40. I'm like, this is cool. In my 20s, I'm like, all right, we got this. This my rookie looks over at me in a calm voice. He goes, I gotta ask you a question. What's going through your mind right now? And I'm like, what's going through my mind right now is not falling in this water with 50 pounds of gear on and having the megalodon eat me. Like, that's how I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sharks. It's all kinds of stuff. So we approach this ferry, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, what's a tactical nightmare? So like, we come around the back, and the Coast Guard captain says, prepare to board. I'm like, what do you mean? In my head, I'm like, well, I'm like Captain Jack Sparrow here. I'm like, what? So holding on. So he whips it around. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Act of Valor. My wife just reminded me when they do the amphibious boat assault. The guy whips the boat around. I was like Maui in the boat. I could have touched the water and been like singing a song. I'm like, holy crap! So we rammed the back of the boat where the cars come onto this ferry, right? And there's a chain that blocks those cars from going off. The captain full throttles the boat. We got to walk up a galley, like on I don't know, the aft and whatever side of the boat's the right side.
The front of the boat, right?
Towards the
Front of the boat.
Yeah.
We walk towards the front, and I see this chain. Everybody's jumping over this chain. Now, grant you, I'm 6'4", at just 290, all this gear on. I'm like, what? I said, I got to jump over this chain. I said, if I fall, I slip and fall. Anyhow, the chain came down before I got there. Thank God. So the whole time I'm telling my rookie, I was like, listen, I got the rifle. We're taking high ground. We're going to the balcony. We're going to look for these suspects. I said, keep your weapon holstered on my shoulder. Let's go. Lo and behold, all this stuff is fact checked. You can check it on TikTok. It was TikTok famous for a little while. my big butt coming on the back of that boat with my AR strapped and tack vest. There's my rookie lasering me the whole time. So I'm sitting there, and I love him to death. If I'll tell him about this podcast and he'll listen to it. He turned out to be a pretty good officer, but he was freaking cold black. But that was, to be flying out there on a Coast Guard cutter boat with three 250 motors in the back. I'm talking like we were humming, and he asked me what I'm thinking about, and I'm like, I don't want to fall in the water and drown.
Jaws will eat you.
Like Jaws. I'm thinking Jaws.
Yeah, we have great whites. We have whales. We've done everything.
Yeah, my wife and I share our location on our phones just because of this, and we have a lot of friends in the fire department. And I was supposed to be home at 11 o'clock that night. Guys in the department calling me, hey, just in case you see the news, John's okay, he's good. So we get home that late, we talk about it. She goes, yeah, I checked your location. She's like, you're in the middle of the ocean. So I'm like, sorry.
All right, guys, that's what we got for today's show. Chuck, John, thank you both for joining us today. It's a pleasure having you guys on the show.
Yeah.
Guys, keep it real, keep it funny. Until next time, stay safe and watch each other six.